Chance Rencountre joining me here on the program for the very first time. Chance, how are you?
I'm good, man. Good. Just got some food, ready to relax after practice. We're ready to roll.
Well, I appreciate you having me part of your after practice routine here and everything. And we obviously saw you back when you made your debut for the UFC, a few months ago. But I don't think a lot of people know your backstory. How did you get involved in combat sports?
Honestly, it was I was a college wrestler, and after wrestling was over, I just kind of was still wanted to be competitive. I kind of did MMA as a fun at first. I fought at 85, was just doing it for fun. Bored in school still, so I took a couple fights, and then I got the opportunity to come out here and train with Phil Davis here out at Alliance. Came out here, hung with some of the guys, just being green, just a wrestling background. That was it, and survived. I wouldn't say actually hung with them, but I survived at least. And Coach Del Fiore told me, you're welcome back at any time, and he hasn't been able to get rid of me since. So I keep coming back, and I realized that I was kind of decent at this sport, so I was like, well, let's try to make a run at this, see if we can do something with this. So here I am today, man. It's, 7 years later, and we're still rocking and rolling.
That's awesome, man. Love hearing stories like that. And that's good you stuck with it. And now you're at obviously one of the premier gyms in the sport. For those who don't know, your background a little bit, obviously you're Native American. How was that growing up, just as someone who's Native? Because I know that there's a lot of stereotypes. There's a lot of things that I'm sure sort of came with that. How was it? Was it, pretty decent upbringing, or was it a little bit rough?
Yeah, I grew up on I'm Osage and Cheyenne River Sioux. I grew up southern in Oklahoma. My mother, I grew up on the reservation, the Osage Nation reservation. I grew up there ever since I was 1 year old till 18. I went off to school. Man, I wouldn't say it's rough. Just a single mother. I mean, everybody has their downs and ups, So it's not necessarily like anything hard. I came from the reservation, so there was a bunch of fellow natives with me. So it wasn't just like it was me fighting by myself or anything like that. So it was just a normal upbringing for me, but it was a struggle. I grew up on the reservation, and nothing like, no hardships as hard as some of the other reservations in this world. Our reservation is pretty well grounded and everything like that. So it wasn't too bad, but it was still hard for me.
Okay, that's good to hear. And then obviously, you made your debut, like I mentioned a few months ago. What about being a fan of the sport? When did that come? Did that come when you started training, or did that come before that?
Man, it's funny. Like I really didn't follow it too much. I watched it as growing up in college and everything like that. That's when it really started picking up. And then I was a fan of it, but then I really didn't follow the names and everything. I'm still horrible. Like, hey, is that guy famous? Should I know him? But I'm starting to incorporate more and learn more. And it's interesting to see where I'm at today from where I was when I first started, because, I had no idea who anyone was. Like, first time I came out here to Alliance, Brandon Vera was there, and he just called me Oklahoma. Let's go, Oklahoma. Let's go, Oklahoma. I had no clue who the guy was. I was at his gym, and next thing you know, I'm asking one of the fighters, like, hey, who is that coach? He was really cool. I liked him. And they just laughed at me like, are you kidding me? You don't know who Brandon Vera is? And at that time, I didn't. But now, it's one of the guys I respect. I'm truly humbled by. He appreciates, he supports me in everything I do, and I'm truly honored to share the, practice gym with them or whatever it is. It's an awesome experience.
Speaking of awesome, I believe you made some history earlier this year, being the first Native American to make their octagon debut. What did that mean, just as someone who worked your way up and finally made the big debut for the UFC?
It's really a humbling experience. It's neat. I didn't take it. It's still not all set in yet. Everything's moving so fast. I just moved here to California from Oklahoma, so it's all coming as with time, I think. I didn't know that I was the first tribal member to ever carry a flag in there into the octagon. And after I found out that, it was like, wow, I sit there, I made history. Of course, the decision didn't come out the way it was, but what do you expect off of 10 days notice, sitting there framing houses, not training hard or anything like that? So it was tough, but I feel like I showed, my warrior spirit, like the true background of the Native American, and like that we can survive. We can fight with our heart. And I think I showed a little bit of heart out there and made it through, and hopefully it'll be different outcome at this fight with Randy.
What's been the response from the people you grew up with seeing you make your octagon debut now? Because I know fighting's one of those things where, people either love it or they hate it. There usually isn't an in-between. How has the response been?
Man, ever since I've started my MMA career, I've had a huge following in Oklahoma, and not many people know my background and stuff of that nature. But as far as my hometown and the surrounding towns around there, I grew up in a town of 3,000, so there's not very many people do what I do. I mean, honestly, no one does what I do. And they've always been so supportive, even before I got in the UFC. And then once I got in the UFC, it just feels like it's the same general consensus, but it's just hard to get. And that's one thing is like I'm proud to be Osage. I'm proud to be who I am and where I come from. I came from a reservation. I've made it all by myself. I haven't had no handouts, nothing given to me. I haven't had that, that man that just gives me everything in my life. I've had to work for every single thing I've had, from scholarships to college to now fighting in the UFC. I've been supporting myself along with my family, of course. Couldn't do it without those guys. But it hurts that we got 20,000 members, 20,000 and some change. I think it's like 25,000 members in our tribe. And I can't get none of the casinos or anything. We got like 5 casinos there that they won't support one of their own. I understand everybody's got to make money, but it just hurts me. It hurts inside that someone that's made it this far and is at the premier level in my eyes of our sport, they still won't back me. My tribe, of course, all the people that are there, of course they support me, and I'm so thankful and humbled by all the appreciation everybody that they do show me. But it's just the fact that we can't get some of the executives, the higher up people that we put in place to realize and show support back towards me. That's what really hurts.
Well, hopefully, the more your career goes on, maybe that tune changes a little bit. And, you got this fight coming up here on the 19th. Big opportunity. First UFC card on ESPN. How excited were you, first off, just to get on this card? Because this is going to be a bit of history here.
Man, it's exciting. I've fought New York, of course, my first time, but we didn't get to go to New York or anything like that. But Brooklyn, I'm excited to go there. The Barclays Center. Man, that's a huge venue. It's something I've never been a part of. So of course it's going to be I'm going to be starstruck, I'm sure, for a while, but I'm more excited than ever to put on a show. Got a full camp. I've been out here. I moved out here into October, so I've been training every day. I've been working, and I can't wait to show the actual true chance for Rencountre, not just the guy that showed up 10 days before a fight.
Yeah, and you made your debut in June, and here we are talking about a fight in January. Were you looking to get a fight in there a little bit sooner, or did you want this much time off just with the move and the transition and everything?
That's what it was. Me and my coach or my head coach, Coach Del Fiero, was wanting more time. I mean, we still would like more time, but I mean, if as a fighter, we don't get paid unless we fight. So I made the transition as quickly as possible. And I mean, it wasn't easy to pick up everything. I have a daughter also. It wasn't easy just to pick up and move out here. So it took me a little bit longer than I would have liked, but with the months that we've had here, I have learned a lot more. And then that's the thing is, like, as long as I can stay in the gym, I keep getting better. I keep getting better, and the sky's the limit. Honestly, I'm excited where this is going to go.
Yeah, you've mentioned a lot of the bigger guys at Alliance, like Brandon Vera, like Phil Davis, and you fight at welterweight. Is that typical? Do you just train with everyone, or is there specific people you train with at Alliance?
For the most part, we don't have too many welterweights out here. So yeah, I usually train and spar with the bigger guys. I don't never spar with Brandon or anything. Like, he's over in the Philippines, but Phil, yeah, I got some work with him Tuesday. And it's just who we got there, and everybody there. We're loaded with talent, So it doesn't matter. We got some good guys coming up also that no one hears about. I've mentioned a couple of the big names, but we got younger guys that are coming up that are just as good. It's a survival every day for sure. It's not like I'm walking through practice whistling for sure.
Who are some of the younger guys you get to work with? I'd love to hear you plug some guys here at the gym that we should be keeping an eye on.
I mean, Devin Good Eagle, he's an upcomer. He just fought at the King of the Cage. He's a good one. Some of the other guys, like, I trained with Jeremy this morning. I mean, I know he's a smaller guy, but he definitely, we went to war this morning, and he's no one to shy away from a fight for sure. So there's always a push there, no matter what. Miles Jerry's there also. They're a little bit smaller, but they're still, tough opponents.
That's good, man. With. Yeah, it must boost the confidence a lot just getting to train with guys like that leading up to a fight like this.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's always been my thing. Is like I've always came out here for my camps no matter what, and that's that's one of the things I've always took into fights is I know I've trained with the best. I can work with the best, even in like my smaller fights in my pros. Uh, I knew that I was comfortable. I knew I could fight with the best of them.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
Phil's going to come out for me, and then my striking coach, Daniel Rhodes, we call it Coach Day Day, known around here. So we're going to come out, and we'll have those two guys out here.
Obviously, you feel like you're going to win the fight. Otherwise, why sign the bout agreement? But how do you see this fight unfolding on January 19th?
Oh, we'll see. I mean, it can go anywhere. I'm confident anywhere, honestly. Like, yeah, his striking might be a little better, but it's a fight. At the end of the day, I'm a tough guy, and I feel like I can bite down and swing with anybody sometimes. And then, of course, we got my ace in my pocket. I can wrestle with none other. So it's a good feeling to have that card in there. And then wrestlers always have a dominant. I wouldn't say that, but most of the champions now are have a wrestling background. T Wood and everybody. There's an aspect of wrestling that helps play out in MMA, and I feel like it's a strong background to have coming into MMA for sure.
And we talked about the sort of the layoff in between fights, fighting in June and then now fighting now. And it seems like you're not in a rush. I mean, you want to get really immersed in this camp and really develop your skills that way. Is the plan after this fight, if you come out unscathed, to keep active, or do you just want to take it, sort of month to month, see what happens, and sort of go from there in terms of, after this fight?
After this fight, I'd like to take, I would like to take a little time and really soak up all the knowledge. I've never been able to learn coming out here. I've never been able to get in the gi. I'm still a white belt, so it's like I've never been able to just sit here and just take the knowledge. All these coaches, I got great coaches, from our jiu-jitsu coaches to our striking to every aspect of it, and I've never been able to just learn. I've always had to come out here and prepare for a specific opponent. So I've never been able to just relax, take some time, let your body heal, and then go back to just training, just to learn. I've always been coming out here for a 6-week camp and working on specific things for a specific opponent. So I've never been able to just soak up the knowledge and hang out and enjoy the ride. It's always been business when I've come out here. I've never been to have a good time.
Speaking of business, I know it's not cheap living in California. How do you, how are you able to sort of, train and do everything else? Like, do you have another job on the side, or do you have sponsors? How does that work?
Like I said, man, it hurts. It really hurts. It's a humbling feeling that I do have a job. I wake up at 7 o'clock every morning, and I come to a Hank's Deli, and I work from 7 to 10. Then after that, I go to practice. I go home and get a little bit of rest, and then I hit my second practice. I mean, it's not a lot of hours. It's not a high paying job. I went from, working construction, making really, really good money, to coming here making very, very little to what I used to. So, I mean, it is something, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that they have given me, an opportunity where I can, get a little bit of change in my pocket. I can get some food, get some gas in my truck, and make it to practice every day. And that's what's amazing and a blessing.
Good for you, man. And I mean, you're making it work, right? You're going all in on this. You moved your whole, family to California to try and, be at a better camp. So, I mean, you can't have any regrets, right? Because you're going all in.
Oh yeah, for sure. I knew this is I've been telling my coaches and everything out here for past 7 years, I'm going to make it out here. I'm going to move out here. I'm going to move out here. And then finally I've gotten the UFC, and it's like, all right, now time to shut up and walk the walk, and let's not just talk the talk. So I'm here every day. I show up to practice every day. I work hard, and it's all we can ask for. Everything else will take care of itself.
How are the holiday seasons looking? Like I mentioned, we have Christmas next week. Any plans you got going on right now, being away from home?
No, nothing at all, man. We got a Christmas party tonight for the gym, the teams. Everybody's going to meet up over at our coach's house, and we're going to have a good time tonight. And, of course, not going to have the greatest time, but at least I get to have that kind of family. It's nice having a family away from a family, and that's the thing, is I've been out here coming out here for my camps the past 7 years, so it's nice. I couldn't just move to California just off the spur of the moment. It's nice to have connections here already. I've already, made a family here, so it was an easy move. It was an easier decision. I wouldn't say it was easy, but it was a lot easier to be able to come out here and incorporate myself out here, because I've already got, I know everybody at the gym. Everybody, I've already, they're my family. They're my second family. So it's nice coming halfway across the country and still having that family atmosphere. And that's what's It's what I love. That's why I'm here for sure.
Two more quick questions for you, both completely contrasting. I wanted to get your thoughts as a Native American. Seeing, there's obviously a big controversy right now in sports where you've got the Cleveland Indians and you've got the Washington Redskins. As a Native American, does that offend you at all, seeing, the fact that they use those logos and everything like that? Because there is a lot of uproar, but I wanted to hear from someone like yourself. How does that affect you at all?
I've never been offended by it or anything like that. It's a mascot. It is what it is. It's never raised any eyebrows in my eyes. If there's the derogatory things, and yeah, like the I can't even know this. The Chiefs
the tomahawk, the cheer or whatever. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah,
that could be a little offensive to somebody, but I'm not one of those guys that plays into it too much. It's a thing. And if anything, you got to think it boosts morale of the team. Anything to help your team to win. I mean, sure, you're going to do it. I mean, yeah, people could see it's kind of. I don't even think it's making fun of us. You know what I mean? Like we had tomahawks. Okay, I get it. It's not a big deal.
No, I hear you. It's just a different world now. There's always some controversy with something. So that's why I wanted to ask you, because of all people, if this would offend anyone, I think it would be someone like yourself. So I just wanted to get your take on that. But let's talk about some cool stuff here. Downtime. I know you don't get a lot of it. You're a busy guy. You got the job. You got training. You're a father. Are you watching any TV, playing any video games, anything like that? What does downtime look like for you?
Man, I'm a big History Channel buff. I like to watch
History
Channel.
Awesome.
Yeah, anything History Channel. I'm more of I like to learn. Discovery Channel, History Channel. Big TV guy. I like to hang out, watch TV. Don't play too many video games, although I wouldn't mind it, but I do like to watch some TV and relax for sure.
Okay, what's something good you've watched recently on History Channel that you can recommend? Because I'm always looking for new stuff. I like the old documentary style stuff, but let's hear what you got.
Curse of Oak Island, man. That's where it's at. Curse of Oak Island. They're gonna find the treasure eventually. Hopefully, I've been watching it for probably 3 seasons now, and they still haven't. They've started to find a couple things, but nothing big yet. But they're getting there. I feel like.
You know what I really like on History Channel? It's not really like a history thing, but they do, I think it's called Ultimate Survivor Alaska. It was like a reality show where they had like a group of people go and do this competition with like bare essentials, and they have to survive in Alaska. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's pretty crazy.
It's there's I think the same thing, but it's called Alone.
Okay.
There's like 10 guys that go out in the middle of nowhere. They just have their backpack, and it's just the last man standing. I think they make it,
okay.
Like some of them made it like 60 some days or something like that. Made their own, their houses, everything. They're just out there surviving, fishing, and everything like that. And it's just whoever taps out. So you could be out there as long as you can survive. So I thought that was pretty neat. I haven't seen the Bear Alaska one or anything like that.
Okay, well, I'll be keeping an eye out for that. We certainly got to check out this card, man. It's going to be stacked. It's UFC on ESPN 1 coming up here January 19th. Chance, it was great getting a chance to talk to you, man. I really appreciate it. Just no pun intended. But by the way, where can people find you on social media? And if you got any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
Follow me on Instagram. It's just black_eagle at 170. So that's really where I'm going. I got a fan page on Facebook, Chance Black Eagle Rencountre, and then that's really where I stick to Instagram mainly. I'm not the greatest social media, but I'm picking it up. I never had time before, but now I gotta be marketable. So I am trying. Trust me.